Trustee Junior,
Here.
Councilmember Robles,
Present.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Rizaldi, absent, Mayor Gilliam.
Here. We have a quorum.
in this diagram that in the blue section there where there's an arrow, that is for slow chargers, which still allows for non-EV parking. So if you're interested in this, we could pursue it further and develop an agreement. In some cases, they do have rental agreements attached to them to help offset some of the cost of the city. And I'm just throwing all this in front of you to see if you would like to, either direct us to pursue an agreement with Tesla for use of the parking lot, direct staff to pursue other EV charging station locations, which we've already essentially done. Council could decide not to pursue this, or just let Tesla kind of pursue it on their own.
I think, kind of cut to the chase, that their requirement is that it cannot be shut down.
It's a 24/7 operation. So for the vehicles, they have to know when they come to town that it's going to be available for charging.
So that's 24/7, 365.
Yes.
That's quite a few charging stations, I see. Is that 12?
There's fast charges they're proposing is 15, slow chargers 12. And of those 12, you can park non-EV vehicles on them. But in terms of the parking lot itself, you can't just shut it down for that event because it's a requirement in there to them that they need it open 24/7 for the marketability of EV, vehicles.
One of the things that is kind of a rub to some of the businesses is that there's a 2-hour parking limit, should be a 2-hour parking limit along the street for anybody. And what I see is a lot of business workers park on the street. So if we say we're going to implement the 2-hour parking, that they got to park in the parking lot, you're going to have that parking lot full of employees and visitors. So it just seems to me that, just like the purple area, which is that's one thing, it's going to be pretty well crowded. But for us to say that you have to keep, you can't have any activity, say Halloween or the fiestas or any other event, that you can't close it down to these events. This is our only area in the middle of town.
Yep.
Unless the Dune Center wants to put this over there on that side, which I would think it's too early in the game to say that they should be talking to them.
That's essentially the case, yes.
Yeah.
With the Dune Center.
The thoughts, council?
I agree with you, Mayor. I mean, just to give up the complete, pretty much the complete rights to the whole parking lot for usage. And I think we have two events that are for sure every year. And not even giving that leeway that let's a little too much.
I believe this year Fiesta will be moving to Leeway Park.
What's that?
Fiestas?
Yeah, okay, but they're
But
like
still,
Christmas
but we
parade,
want-
yeah.
My question would be for the fireworks, would this affect the fireworks staff? That means
I think it would, but I mean, there may be a way to put it in there somehow, but I'm not sure. I know where they put the stand in there normally, but
is in the parking.
I think it would probably it'd probably interfere with it.
Chief, is a fire booth usually in the parking?
Yes,
ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, right across the section.
On the EV.
Yeah. Well, I think if Tesla were to say, okay, you can put it there, have your events, and go with that, but to say to us, it has to be open, no, and you cannot have, even for a day, somebody put up have an event, say you want to do a food coach, what do you call it, right in that area to have an event that brings in, catering, what do you call them?
Food trucks?
Food trucks. What about a farmer's market that has been talked about before? To me, that location or the park might be to me, a farmer's market, the best place is to have it there. So if we're handcuffed by Tesla saying that you can't do it, if they're willing to say, Okay, we'll work around your schedule.
Well, this is what they told me initially, so I
Right.
will
Okay,
obviously bring it back to them and say, this is the concerns of the council. If you want to pursue this, that, we can further investigate it and come back. If not, they can look somewhere else,
does that work for Jim?
Yeah, yeah, cause I would hate to give up our parking lot solely to just them having charging stations. Then, there's the car club does their trunk or treat in that area. We have, that's the common ground area for after the parades. Now we have Leeway Park that's back up and going, but some things will change, but you're taking away from Little House by the Park to the fireworks stand. People come to get the parking lot if they're doing a barbecue to raise money for something that's going on, so it's kind of a central spot. I mean, yeah, it's good in the sense that it'll put there people who have Teslas or EV cars to stop, and, it would give them the opportunity to come and visit our small town and, eat dinner, lunch or something, but to give it up for all that, it's just, I couldn't see that happening to our community when it's a central piece for us.
I think it would be great to continue to pursue other, stations, locations
Sure.
for this, because I think this is really important.
Yeah, just from the standpoint, I'm just personally a believer in this, and this is the future, and I think. Necessity is the mother of invention, so they'll find a way, and it doesn't this is just setting the stage. If you guys are open to it, then great. If not, we'll just have them pursue other opportunities, and I can still ask them if they're willing to work around events.
I
Again.
think that this is having EV stations is very important to us, especially on Highway 1, when you have say for instance, down the future, a new bridge, fixing up the Highway 1 and 166. Opening up the dunes again, people with, and the change that is coming forth in terms of electric vehicles. It's important for us to have that, so just relay that to them. We do want to make sure that we have that ability to do that. And if we can work with them on this side, then that's fine.
100%. I'll make sure and let them know that you're still very much interested in this idea, just maybe not there.
And it's interesting, they must have a footprint on the number of stations that make it for them in terms of the number of quick charging and the regular.
Yeah, I think they have some kind of calculus or
Right.
metric on it, margins or however you want to
I
state it.
don't know if Santa Maria, I know that, does Target have, is that Tesla? The Target?
A lot of the shopping centers have, that's
Okay,
the regular ones, but yeah.
okay.
This also brings up
Too
another
far away,
question.
they
for
need
me.
to be by stores and stuff.
This brings another question up for me. I think the current parking situation for there, the time hours, I know that was gonna be addressed again, so if we can, bring it back again to another agenda item.
Christina, could you say that again, please?
The hour operations for, the Memorial Park project, I would like to see if we can address that at a future agenda.
I don't even know if is there a time limit on that, Chief? I can't remember.
I don't even know.
Are you referring to the
Parking. lot.
parking?
Yeah.
Yes, matter of fact, I gave a ticket last night.
Somebody parked?
It was a electric vehicle that was parked overnight. It was there at 3 o'clock. this morning.
Charging up.
Hmm,
And the way it works, it's between 9 and 6, it's 2-hour parking. And from 12 PM to 6 AM, there is no parking in that lot or in the downtown business district between 6 and 12.
Is there current signage for that?
Oh, yes. Cars parked right next to the sign. We used to one last night. And so, yeah, we surprised no one's come here.
No, yeah,
I got some
there it is
calls.
right there.
Oh, okay. We talked on the phone. Yeah, yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yes.
Please come up.
Hey.
My name is Andrew Espinoza.
Hey, Andrew.
I live in 1032 Guadalupe Street. And between, what I'm talking about is the areas between 11th Street and 10th Street. When they first put up those signs that you're referring to, we were all kind of puzzled, especially us that live in that area, because we're kind of mixed with some residents, and I mean residents and some commercial, but really, there really isn't no commercial buildings. There only, the gas station, the post office. It was the Dune Center, you know, that, but really no businesses as far as business wise, you know, like it is like downtown. So we were kind of puzzled. And we brought it up a few times to the, whoever, somebody came over here, I guess, to the city and brought it up to attention and I just found this out today after I got a ticket that they had a permit.
Mhm.
I did not know that, and I've been living there for, you know, since the seventies. And well, that sign's been there for, I don't know how long.
Since the thirty, probably.
Who knows, but anyway,
Exactly.
but the point is that, you know, I'm not here arguing that my ticket, I mean, the officers are just doing their job. But the thing is that the argument is this, that between 11th Street and 10th Street, though that sign, I don't know why they put that sign there,
I think one of the reasons was cleaning, street cleaning,
okay?
because you can't clean streets at night, which I know it did when we had our own street.
You're right, and for me, that I live there,
Right,
and all the residents that live there, I used to tell me, mate,
get out of the way, yeah.
on
Yeah.
Fridays, don't
Yeah.
park there because the street sweep, and then we always do that consideration, because
Right.
we've been there, like I said, we've been there forever. And
Well, I think there's what, 4 permitted, please see.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With the help of the city attorney, we were able to, the city council approved for a limited parking district. If I'm incorrect, the city attorney will correct me, but it was only for the 3 to 4 parking spaces that are on the east side of the street, right next to the gas station. Those are the residents that came forward. So we didn't do anything to the west side of the street, which the gentleman is 100% correct. There is limited parking as far as off-street parking, as far as for homes in that general area. The only thing that we would suggest is maybe that's something for discussions, a possibility to include them in that limited area on the west side of the street, along with the east side of the street. That's right in front of the dunes and the little yellow house and so forth.
So how many homes are we talking about?
there's total is there's 3 behind the post office. There's 4 that he's talking about crossing the dunes. The apartment complex that's right behind it, they have a small little parking spot, but some of those guys have to park in the street or they park around the corner. You know, they're scattered, but other than that, the main ones that really have to park in the street is the 3 behind the post office.
You should go up there to
Yeah.
hear you.
What the public will hear you. I'm sorry.
The houses that I'm referring to is the 3 behind the post office.
Right,
And then there's 4 more across the street from the dunes. You know, that I can speak for them guys too, because those guys are in the same boat where they don't have a parking spot. They all park in the street.
but you,
Yeah, cause I know where you guys live by the post office, they're very limited.
Yeah.
The post office needs those slots, so you guys get actually maybe 1 slot in there and not parking lot.
So we have 0 parking at post
In there,
office.
okay, yeah, see, so,
Because that's like asking the neighbor, hey, can I park in your driveway, you know, that kind of thing. That's the way they feel about it.
yeah,
Especially during work hours.
yeah, work hours, it's harder, and then they get there, yeah. Yeah, so what would we have to annex that into,
well, let's talk about it. We'll bring it back and look at, because then we're talking about the number of spaces that are required, so.
Correct. I'll retrieve the report and with the help of the city attorney, I can look to at least amend. And that way you'll have something for discussion. I can submit another staff report for you to be able to look at all the options there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Wait a minute. Wait, I have something to say,
You do, okay, good.
because
Who are your name, please?
Tony Espinoza, I'm his wife.
Okay,
Okay, so while you guys take that up in discussion and we're getting tickets, so where are we supposed to park at tonight? Cause we ain't got nowhere to park and the post office is always complaining and I don't understand why they complain if we park there at nighttime. Because we're all out of there before the post office even opens at 9 o'clock in the morning and the Maritza and the postmaster are always complaining if we park in the parking lot when I don't see why they park, when they complain knowing that we can't park on the street. And we're all out of there before the post office even opens, so no one's in their parking lot. The other day, they called the cops on this guy and blocked him in. They're barricading the whole parking lot for us to go up there, so we can't even go up there and unload our groceries or anything, because I have pictures, they have all these barricades where they're blocking us, where we can't even go and unload our groceries or anything. I'm always calling the ambulance for my husband because he's sick, so the ambulance, if they need to come into the parking lot and pick up my husband, and they can't get through because they're putting up barricades, they want to put up chains and all this stuff to block us out. We're residents there. Where are we supposed to park at? So now this morning, we all woke up to tickets this morning and for parking on the street. So we've been parking there for years. They barely put those signs up. They weren't up since the 70s. And so tonight, where are we supposed to park at and without getting tickets? Where are we supposed to park at until you guys discuss this and figure out where are we supposed to park at?
Thank you. I apologize. Resident said that I'm in the way and people are talking, so that's why I
Okay,
moved.
sure.
We would put a moratorium on any tickets until that comes back. That's what we did in the previous process. We waited until city council made a decision, so we would not be issuing any type of tickets except for notification about street sweeping on Friday mornings. We would appreciate people move their vehicles so we can get that done. But with the council's direction, we would hold tight on everything until it came back.
Not the council's direction.
I'm sorry.
That's what you're doing
Yes, for police department.
yes.
So we good with that?
So,
Are we okay?
so it'll be between, this the people between 10th and 11th, correct? In the residential area, okay.
Did we have
So that we
somebody
are
else?
okay to park there without getting
And we
tickets.
consider.
Yeah, I said, there's a moratorium on that.
Okay.
Did we have somebody else that wanted to speak?
This is not.
Is it east and west? We'll have a.
¿Querías decir algo?
This is not on the agenda.
Yeah, pasan.
Yeah.
Pásate, pásate.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es José y pues también tengo el problema con el parqueadero porque donde el área donde vivo no tengo parqueadero. Entonces, pues cuando yo llegué y me rentó Lupe, pues él me dijo, claro, de que no iba a tener parqueadero adentro, ¿verdad? Pero ya tengo 5 años y siempre me parqueaba enfrente de mi casa y pues nunca me habían puesto un ticket y pues ya recibí 2. El primero lo pagué y apenas agarré otro. Y pues quería ver a ver cómo me solucionaban al menos de que me dejaran parquear enfrente, porque tampoco los del correo ya no dejan de que entre para adentro ni salga para afuera. Y
¿Usted casa es otro lado de acá?
vivo en
The same area?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
sí. Y luego con el nuevo señor que ha llegado del correo, en la mañana entro porque tengo una niña, una bebé pequeña, para subirla al carro y llevármela con la niñera, y pues ya no nos deja salir para afuera, nos tranca, nos cierra y no podemos salir hasta que él.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Pues, gracias, señor.
Yeah,
Gracias.
we can't do anything about postal service, but we can do what we can from the city side. And the chief basically said there's a moratorium on tickets until we come back and resolve this.
So ahorita no va a dar tickets, si puedes parquear hasta la otra ruta cuando el chief traiga para atrás esta. Item. Agenda.
Agenda, yeah. Okay. Are we good?
Jose mentioned that he is having also parking issues. He is their neighbor on the east side. And so he is trying to park. But unfortunately, there's no parking spaces. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
They have this recommendation, what's the review for the site? Everybody? What I was always mentioning to people that walk around the community right there, and I said, I say, you know what, why don't they just put a sign there and say, you know, I mean, it's fine that they put there the 2 hour parking, all that stuff, because you're right, because people use it as a post office and whatnot. But if they would just correct the sign and say, you know, no parking there, period, like we mentioned, like on Fridays, because of the sweeper, I mean, especially right there, this is change that sign right there, in that between 10th and 11th Street, that would be good, you know, this way everybody could respect that. So you'll see those nobody cars already, but there is like new residents that come and show up. So I can see it needs to be enforced, you know, because we want to, because we're also, I end up out there sleeping out there in front of the post office and stuff like that. But yeah, so, that's one thing I like to recommend, is maybe change the wordage on that. No parking there Fridays, you know.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you, we hear you.
Thanks, Coach.
So does Chief. Any other comments on this? Chief's report? Right, we're going to item 10. Second amendment to the joint powers agreement creating the Central Coast Water Authority. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the city council. This is not my expertise, well, the agreement is, but the subject matter of the agreement is not, which is groundwater banking. You probably know more about it, Mr. Mayor, than I do, and Councilmember Lizaldi would have too, having been on the alternate on the CCWA board. Arguably let me back up. The joint powers agreement created the Central Coast Water Authority, which is what we are part of and where we get our state water. The agreement was amended once before, and I think it says it in the resolution. There was a first amendment, which, you know, was, I don't know what it was off the top of my head. It's just put in the resolution as a, you know, reference. This amendment arguably is not even technically necessary. There's a good argument that the authority, the CCWA already has this authority. But basically, to remove any doubt about that, they decided that just to go ahead and formalize the amendment. So basically, this is a very smart idea, because as we know from drought years, water can be difficult to come by. And as we had a very beneficial year last year, a lot of water, there aren't a lot of facilities to save that for drought years. So that's what brought this about. They said we should really start looking into that. I guess because we had so many drought years, people thought we would never have a wet year again. I don't know, but it's a good idea. Staff recommends it. The amendment is obviously really short and simple. Just adds one paragraph to make sure that it's clear that it does have this authority, and then just to note that there's no CEQA review required, because there's no project at this point that that's being proposed. If there is a project to do groundwater banking, then CEQA would be required for that project, but this amendment doesn't require that. And that's my report. I haven't had to answer any questions that I can. Thank you.
Any questions from the council? It's pretty mundane stuff, but it's
Yes.
really, like you mentioned, it's
Very important.
very politically charged, and if we get this, then it's a move forward, so. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-68?
I'll motion to approve resolution 2023-68.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? We'll have roll call, please.
Councilmember.
Yeah. Okay.
Aye.
Councilmember Robles.
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez. Aye. Councilmember Lozaldi absent, Mayor Julia.
Aye, resolution passes. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Item 11, future agenda item.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Ordinance telling us on
Yeah,
22nd. That's
we
when
can make that happen.
Any addition from staff, by the staff?
Food truck from, they're unscheduled up to August 22nd.
Okay,
So you gotta get that.
The food truck and special event ordinance, moving from unscheduled to August 22nd.
all right. Announcements, council activity reports.
Bulldogs are in their first week of full contact practice. They just finished their 2 weeks. Hours of, clinic and conditioning. And I believe in 2 weeks they will be having jamboree, and the next, weekend after will be game time.
Good.
And we're still in dire need, senior division. We're short some coaches. Andrew Espinoza. So, yeah, if there's any new fathers out there in Pasadena that want to make impact and help out our youth and mentor some of our kids, you do have some football experience, step up and see Enrique Ortiz. Contact him, he'd love to meet you. So,
And
thank you.
can I ask, how's the field?
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Yes.
You can walk 5 feet and be 4 inches taller,
Okay,
or you can be 3 inches shorter.
as a citizen asked for a dump load,
It's in bad, yeah, it's in bad condition, but
what would it take? What would it take in your estimation?
Probably 25,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we have issues with gophers, that's gonna be the.
Yeah,
That's a huge problem.
Anything? Yeah,
As school starts on Thursday, so just a gentle reminder to slow down and watch for children crossing the street.
This Thursday? Wow.
Be safe
right.
at, Mary Buren, correct? Chief?
What?
Okay, I have a couple items, and there's a copy for you, media staff. We had a meeting last Thursday, was it Thursday or I can't remember what day, meeting that went through at Taylor Farms with Taylor Farms leaders to discuss the Highway 166 Caltrans projections for renovation from San Maria Valley Railroad, Southern Pacific Railroad, all the way through to Flower Street to include Pasadena. So there's some concern with exiting the plant onto Highway 1 or Obispo Street. And they also invited the city's council members to actually do a walkthrough. That was the first time I walked through that whole place since Pier was closed down, but there was a map that showed that exit one went right on through and out, but there's no exit all the way through and out. But they're meeting, SB CAG is meeting with them, SB CAG, Caltrans City, Taylor Farms, and we're meeting Thursday.
Thursday, 9:30, I believe.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Yes.
All right. And I appreciate Caltrans meeting because they want to hear what's going on. So the project will involve, and I mentioned this before, upwards of 13 million, no more than that, 31 million?
31.
$31 million, so you gotta do it right the first time. We had a visit by Maria Gallegos Herrera, who is the USDA state representative last Friday to look at the $1.7 million for the expansion of Leroy Park. All their staff is here.
Yeah.
She's from, she says, it says Davis on her card, but she's from Visalia, but they wanted to find out what we were gonna do with that 2,200 square foot expansion that goes from the current the gym to the play area. So they were very supportive of what was going on, and Al Corral was there, who was our local point person.
Yep.
So he wants to do a lot for Guadalupe, so take him up on it. There's actually a meeting, a Zoom meeting with the Guadalupe State and Federal Legislative Update, which includes part of, what FEMA's gonna do with the river. And also with, Highway 1, Main Street Beach, there's some significant, requests by, Supervisor Lavanino for Caltrans, not Caltrans, but FEMA to step in and help that. It's gonna be expensive. And we've been coordinating with Pasadena to find out what they need in terms of exiting their property, so. And what's also happening, as we may know, that there's some issues with the railroad, San Rafael Valley Railroad in terms of access. So we're working out, they're working with the feds now to see what we can do to get some clearance in terms of railroad line replacement, stuff like that. So that's all moving forward in that area, so. That's all I had. Staff, anything before we go into closed session?
Nope.
So is there a motion to adjourn the closed session?
Almost to change on the close second.
For a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Closed session. Thank you all.
Short meeting.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, their HR and their risk. First, I'll talk with the chief. From Montauk and San Maria and the sheriff about how they do it. And then they hook me up with the